What's up guys, it's me Billy, and today we're going to be going over how to paint the Reaper Bones miniature dire bear. Here's a preview of the end result. If you guys follow along step by step, you should be able to get similar results. This is a pretty basic tutorial, so let's jump into it. I'm going to start off with a list of things that you'll need to get started. First off is the miniature, obviously, paintbrushes, your primer, your paint colors, paper towel, water, and something to stick your mini on so that it's easier to handle. And I also have a plastic palette here. You don't necessarily need this, but it might make things easier for you. Here is the unpainted dire bear. We're using the Vallejo surface primer here, black. We're going to put it into the palette. Bring out our water. Clean off our brush. My brush was been sitting around, so just clean it off, making sure it's dry before I put it into the paint. Grab our mini here. And we're just going to completely cover the whole bear and the base in this black primer. You want the black primer to be on every surface so that your other colors will actually stick to the mini. And a big thing about this primer is it can work as shadows later on, so if you don't paint over the primer, it'll be black and that'll just act as like a shadowed area, which is a pretty cool effect. And here's our primed dire bear. Now we're going to grab our base color, that Mournfang Brown by Citadel. We're going to do the same thing, pretty much cover the whole bear in it. But like I said, we're going to want the black to act as some shadows, so we're going to make sure we're not globbing the brown onto everything. And I'm going to paint the base here as well. So we want some of that black to be in the recesses of his fur, and I kept his nose, his claws, and his teeth, and the stones on the base black. Next we're going to use our Master Series paint, Leather Brown, and we're going to get into some dry brushing. So this is kind of a technique that gets some really high quality results out of it for not a lot of effort. So we can get some paint on the brush and basically brush all of the paint off of our brush onto that paper towel so that our brush is basically dry. And then we're just going to flick our brush back and forth over the mini, and the highlights are going to catch on all of the stuck out surfaces of the models. So the fur is going to catch all of these highlights, while that Mournfang Brown is going to exist under those highlights, and then in even those recesses it's going to be black. And here's a little preview of that. So as you can see, we got three colors: the black, the Mournfang Brown, and the Leather Brown. And next we're going to grab our Ushabti Bone and just kind of give the claws some coloring. So I like this bone color because it's not necessarily white, it's kind of more tan. And I think it looks good on claws and sometimes teeth, but we're going to use white for the teeth here. And I'm also dry brushing kind of the top areas that sunlight would be hitting this mini if it was like in real life. So as you can see here, I got the claws with that Ushabti Bone as well as some dry brushing. Then we're going to grab Mountain Stone and just cover the rocks on the base. This is a pretty simple one. Any of those big rocks that you see down there just covered in gray. Then we're going to grab the Naga Green and give it some grass. I think this color is really good for grass. It sticks out a lot. It kind of adds that cool contrast to just kind of like a flat brown. And you can paint over the brown that we put on the base before. So as you can see here, we got grass, brown there, down there, and then the gray rocks. Then we're going to grab our Ulthan Gray, which is kind of like a white. And I'm going to do the eyeballs and the teeth with this one. And then a little bit more dry brushing on the top too, just so that like the only spot where the sun would be hitting would be giving that white color on top of the bear. So as you can see in the little preview here, he's got white eyes, white teeth, and then his back should have just a little bit of white highlights up top. So you can see all the different color variations. Then this is our liquid skill, Citadel Agrax Earthshade. And we're just going to douse the whole model in this. People call this liquid skill because it basically is exactly what it sounds like. You just put this on there and it adds so much to the model. Here you go, you can see in the recesses it's even more black than it was before. Here's the final version of the model, all dried and ready to go. You can see the highlights on the outer part of the fur and on top of the rocks and the grass and stuff. And in the recesses it looks darker. So there's the black primer that we put, as well as the Agrax Earthshade wash that we put on there. Yeah, so I think he looks pretty sweet. Thanks for checking out my mini painting video. Let me know in the comments below what I did well or what I didn't do very well. If you guys want more explanation of any of the techniques that I used, or if you want more mini videos, I have a bunch of unpainted minis that I need to get to. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.